All right. Well, that was a wet blanket on the week. Just really rough offensive performance all day for LSU. That was very disappointing. The good thing is I wasn't actually there to witness it in person. I'm here at a barbecue for a friend's birthday, so that's solid. So we at least have that going for us. Losing a 2-1 game, first of all, on a Sunday is just rare. I mean, where's the 9-8 game we're all accustomed to seeing in college baseball? You pitched great. You gave up 2 runs. One of them were both of them unearned? I think both of them were unearned. I don't think there was an earned run scored in the game. The story is the offense. Like, we can talk about Thatcher Herd. I want to because I thought he pitched really well. I mean, obviously it wasn't a totally clean outing, but he battled and got off the hook several times. And I mean, he's going to continue to occupy that role for right now. He's done nothing to lose it. So I know we all want to see Cade Anderson. I get it, and he's pitched great. But I don't think you're really going to move Thatcher Herd right now out of that either. He constantly wiggled off the hook. Your starting pitching this weekend was phenomenal, and that is a major bright spot from this. So we'll talk a little bit about that, but we're going to focus in on the offense a lot, man, because there were so many opportunities. That's the thing that made this a bummer. They had a lot of opportunity today at the plate, and they just couldn't come through. And I think there's plenty of reasons why, and we're about to get into that. But first, I do want to remind everybody, hit the like, share the video, smash that like, as a matter of fact, and get subscribed to the pod. We'll keep this a little brief. We will have, obviously, a full recap coming later this evening, so be on the lookout for that full weekend of the entire weekend, which was overall a success. But let's look at today. So from an offensive standpoint, you weren't good enough. Get the leadoff guy on. You get the leadoff guy on the first 3 innings. You get nothing. In one of those innings, I believe it was the second, or actually it might have been the third. It was the third, because you had Braswell lead it off with the single to right. So you have, leadoff guy on third straight inning and the top of the order coming up. Like, this is the time to break through. You're going to see Boyle for the second time. This is the time to break through. And you don't. I memean, Milam drills a ball, but it's caught. And then you have, excuse me, or did Milam reach? I'm not sure. I think Milam actually reached. And you had first and second, and nobody out. And Travinsky punches out. White would punch out in that inning as well, and you'd get nothing out of that. And that can't happen. Like, Hayden Travinsky and Tommy White have to at least put the baseball in play right there, and instead they punch out. And those are bad at bats. There's really no way around that. In the 4th inning, you get the 1-out triple from Jared Jones. And, I mean, we talk about it all the time. How many different ways can a runner score from third base with less than 2 outs? And it's a big spot for Ashton Larson, who has been really good in his opportunities that he's gotten. This is his second start. I was happy to see him back out there in the lineup, but he punched out in that spot, and you can't do that. I mean, a ground ball to the right side scores you a run. Now, ultimately, you get the run across, but it was off of an error. I mean, Mac Bingham should have been out, but Xavier's not a good defensive team. And we talked about that in the preview. They feel like 9:56 coming in. That's what they're going to do, and it's what they did there, and it pushed across your only run of the game. Was it the 7th inning where you had first and second and nobody out again, and you go for a bunt? I mean, there's just, I get it. You're not having great at bats, so you're trying to scratch across a run any way you can. But at the same time, you're not having great at bats. Why would you give up an out? It just wasn't a good day offensively for them. I can see your comments coming in. I get it. Yeah, there's plenty to look at from an offensive standpoint. I mean, as great as I felt last night coming out of that game about them offensively, and I did, because I thought they were awesome, especially in the conditions that they did that in. Today I feel like the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Now, the thing is, on the weekend, it's not a total loss offensively. I thought you fought really hard on Friday, and I thought you were great last night. You weren't good today. You need more consistency. But that's what we talked about with this team all offseason. They are going to have to find the right combination in that lineup, and it's going to take time. And in the meantime, you're going to lean on your pitching. And that's gotten you 14 wins so far. You're 14-2. that has that's good. Like I think if I told many of you preseason, look, they're going to be 14-2 heading into their final 2 pre-conference games, everybody would be like, okay, yeah. But when you look at the way it happened today, it's tough. It's tough to swallow. But you still have a great pitching staff. You have one of the best pitching staffs in the SEC, and that's going to be big. And the lineup will come along. The important thing I look at today too is I think they're still trying to figure it out, and I think the pieces you saw start today are not going to be the pieces that start Friday in Starkville. And that is important. Now, can the pieces that start Friday in Starkville, do something for you and get it done? Well, we'll see. I'm not just gonna like bang the table and be like, no, they're gonna go to Starkville, score 30 runs over the weekend. Because I don't think that's gonna happen. It's a different look to this team right now, but it's one that's got you at 14-2. It's not a bad look. So, the loss isn't the end of the world. It's just a very disappointing loss, for LSU because of the way that it happened with just so many missed opportunities offensively. I'll be able to go much more deep dive into it in the full weekend recap. So I encourage you to tune into that because I'll have a time to actually look at go back through the game a little bit and look at it, but. It was disappointing. It was a wet blanket on what was a really, really good week for them. But also, I will point out, not all unexpected. I mean, when we gave our prediction, said I thought they'd get all 3, but it wouldn't surprise me if they only got 2 because I thought Xavier was a very game club. I thought they were a very game club, and I thought they played well this weekend. But LSU was clearly the better team and just didn't perform as well today. I do want to say a few things about Thatcher Herd because I know that was a big conversation coming into this week about him in that 3rd spot. And, for me, he did nothing to take him out of that spot. And I would imagine it's going to be the same thing for Jay Johnson. So I think you're going to run it back the exact way you had it. What's going to be interesting is in the midweek, we'll see what they do with Cade Anderson, how long they let him go, and if they want to use him out of the bullpen on the weekend. I hope that they do. But y'all, I thought Thatcher Herd was game this weekend. Like, it wasn't clean. It never really is. But he wiggled off the hook time and time and time again. I mean, stranding bases loaded, having first and second, nobody out, and putting 0 after 0 up on the board. And he got deep into the game. He got you through 5 innings, got the pitch count back up, I believe, up into the 90s, had 9 strikeouts, which I believe is a season high for him so far. So, I mean, that's good. Only had the 1 walk, and he scattered 4 hits around. He didn't help himself with his own fielding, but he wiggled off the hook time and time and time again. So that's ultimately what you want on a Sunday. I know when we look at Thatcher Herd, we want more. We look at Thatcher Herd and we want more. But what he's giving you on Sunday is going to win you a lot of games, even in the SEC on Sunday, because most of the time it gets out of hand because teams are just out of pitching. That's not really going to happen for LSU. They're very, very deep. And the way they were able to structure this series was awesome because, you had Holman go 6 and, you got through that game with Christian Little and forgive me, I can't remember who closed out Friday. But Saturday, I should say, after Jump goes deep, you're able to, use Dutton and Cam Johnson and Will Helmers and those guys to put that game away. And you had your full complement of your best bullpen arms ready to go. I'm not saying they're going to be able to do that in the SEC. I understand. But the way they were able to set this weekend up, I thought was awesome. So you had your full complement, and I thought they all pitched well. I mean, would I have loved to see Nate Ackenhausen come in and not walk the leadoff guy and then you not have the error at first base? Then sure. But it happened, and ultimately you limited the damage. I mean, they gave up 2 runs. They pitched great. And here's the thing I will say. The majority of the time, when LSU gives up 2 runs, they're going to win that game. They didn't today. They're not going to every time, but the majority of the time that they will. I think this is clearly LSU's worst offensive performance so far this year. The Central Arkansas game, probably a close second. Maybe that Stony Brook game, but the Stony Brook game was actually probably a little bit more reminiscent of today, where they had opportunity and they didn't come through. So, I mean, look, it's back to the drawing board. And, it's back to the drawing board. You got 2 games against North Dakota State and you start SEC play. Not the end of the world, just one that you definitely would have wanted to get, but you're 14-2. You're in a great spot. You're pitching the ball as well as you have in a long time. I love how many options you have in the outfield. That's kind of a random aside, but, I mean, bro, this is the deepest outfield I think I can ever remember at LSU. So that's not a bad thing. But you need guys that you're hoping to count on to really start swinging the bat a little bit better here in these next 2 games as they head into SEC. We'll get into much more detail over all 3 games on the full weekend recap. That'll drop later tonight. So y'all be on the lookout for that. For now, I'm going to wrap it up. Y'all smash the like button, share it out, and again, be on the lookout for the full weekend recap later. I'm going to go eat some more barbecue and drink a few more beers. So y'all have a great Sunday, and we'll talk later this evening. This is Musso at the Box, and appreciate all of you.